Hi guys, welcome to the Spoken Podcast. My name's Gareth and I am here today with Ruby Gunnis. We'll be talking about Ruby's background, what she's currently doing and plans for the future, and then discussing a couple of topics as well. So, Rubes, how are you?
Hey, how are you? How is everyone? Good?
We're all fantastic, I hope.
Good.
But yeah.
Vaccinated.
Alright, sweet. Rubes, tell us about yourself. Tell us about your background.
So pretty much ever since I sort of came out of school, I've always sort of been in like the beauty industry to some degree. So when I first came out, I started doing makeup first, and then I hated that because I didn't want to work with brides and things like that. So then I thought I was going to be a nail tech. I went and did that, and then didn't particularly enjoy that one either. Again, then went over to beauty therapy, did that for a couple of years, and then it was just, I've been working at Dracula's for like years and years now, so it was an ex-boyfriend. He was sort of like, why don't you go into barbering? You're really good at like talking to people and stuff like that. So naturally just sort of fed over into barbering, and that's how I met this guy over here.
I know. So a bit of a background on how I know Rubes as well, which is funny. So our mutual friend, Kat, aka Peter Cullen, who edits all of our videos, will more than likely edit this podcast as well to a high standard, I hope. And he can do our blooper reel.
Yes.
But yeah, basically that's our kind of background was Pete was trying to actually get me a job into Dracula's. So yeah, he was saying like, oh, there's loads of cool people there and stuff like that. Hence Ruby. Again, Pete's not the best judge of character. So yeah, it was that's kind of how we got to know each other. So basically, we started the Barber Academy 5 years ago, I think it was now. So Rubes has been one of our first followers on Instagram. I don't know if you know that or not, but it was
know that, no.
basically, yeah, Ruby kind of followed us from the start because I think Pete, aka Kat, had actually shared some stuff on Instagram. So yeah, I think that's where it kind of came from. And yeah, it was kind of a long process, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I was very nervous. I remember messaging you on Instagram being like, I don't understand how any of this works, because I had a barbershop be like, oh, do you want to be like the apprentice or whatever you want to call it in the shop? But it was 6 days a week, and I was getting paid like $18 an hour, and you do it for like 4 years. And I was like messaging you being like, do I do this or do I come to the school and like study it there? And you're like, come to school, it's going to be so much more easier. And then I remember it was probably like another, because COVID happened. 100%. That big COVID thing happened. And then it was after that it was around August last year, I think, that I messaged you guys again. I'm like, let's go, I've got money.
I'm doing it.
Let's get this done. So
I know, it was pretty fun times, obviously, with the COVID and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It actually, it worked in our favour, kind of, if that makes any sense, because obviously barbering and hairdressing stayed open.
Yeah, definitely.
It was kind of like the amount of people who were going, well, if you guys were open, that's kind of where I want to be. I'll let them guaranteed a job if there's a pandemic and stuff like that. So, which is crazy. But yeah, it was pretty funny. I remember some of the kind of DMs that were coming through at like 3 o'clock in the morning after you finished Drax, and it's like, I'm done with this. I'm going to move. I'm going to do this. So yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, no, definitely COVID. So it's sort of, as much as a bad thing, it was sort of a good thing when it came in my life, because it allowed this opportunity to sort of come through, and
100%.
From that, many other opportunities have obviously arisen. So
that's awesome.
It worked out well.
It literally has worked out well. It's been unreal. I mean, to give you a background on Rubes as well with us, I mean, Ruby qualified a fair few months ago now. Yeah, should have been before that. But somebody doesn't like theory. So yeah, Ruby's kind of been with us from where we were at Mermaid Beach, which we had very few students.
Yes, a very little room.
Yes, a very, very little room. So I remember there was roughly around 6 barber chairs, I think there was in there, and it was jam-packed.
Yeah.
Absolutely jam-packed. And now we've moved to our new space, which has 27 or 28 barber chairs. So yeah, Ruby's kind of been there through the whole process of what we've done as a school as well, and also then transitioned into a trainer with us. So our Cert 2 Salon Assistant program, which we've kind of done towards barbering. Ruby taught that class for us this year. And yeah, it's been amazing. Probably one of the toughest groups we've ever had.
I was going to say, that was interesting. That's always going to go down as one of the most interesting jobs I think I've ever had. it's like you don't even realize like how many things go into teaching. Like I now have a whole new respect for teachers after it. Hey, I'm like, that's crazy, especially like because I was dealing with teenagers. That's just a whole nother bag of goodies, that one. But.
Exactly. I mean, year 12 students who basically had to complete a Cert 2 course to kind of have that future as well. So I mean that we started off with a big group as well, and all of them, bar one, I believe, who's just handed in his last assessment, has finished. I know I say it to Ruby every time I see her, literally like, how are you going? Literally, because it is probably the most difficult class that we normally teach her. But yeah, it's just a credit to Ruby to kind of get through that, as well as honing her barber skills in the shop as well, which we'll probably talk a little bit more about further on. But yeah, kind of, I suppose one thing which I want to know is like, why barbering?
I think it was a mixture of things, because obviously I've been in the whole industry of things, and like all the things I had studied were very female orientated, you know what I mean? Mainly I've always got female clients coming in, and I actually get along a lot better with males than when I do females naturally, because I was raised by my dad and I've always been like a massive tomboy, so it was just more of a niche for me to go down. That was, and being tattooed as well, I was like, what, there's not many jobs that I can really do that are like too prim and proper, so I'm going to have to be in the creative lane of things. So it was more those things, like I just wanted to, I've always been like one of the girls that can just sit there and chill with the guys, have a good conversation, and
that's cool. Talking about your tattoos,
my collection,
I know, let's go into that a little bit more as well.
Sure.
Kind of, I mean, it's very rich coming from me as to why people get tattooed, as you can see. This is my fun leg and this is my serious leg. I know. So we've kind of got one matching tattoo. So yeah, it's, I mean, going to like, probably what was your first tattoo? And yeah, what was, I suppose, the kind of reasoning behind it?
I've always sort of dated guys that have been creative, and they've always had like tattoos, and I've always been sort of fascinated by it. Even I remember when I was like 10 being like, Dad, I want to go get tattooed, and Dad's like, wait until you're 18, bud, like, geez, you're ahead of yourself. But it was just, it was funny how I got into it. I've always dated guys that are tattooed, and then it just so happened, because I was modelling full time when I was in my early 20s sort of thing, tattoo artists would literally just message me, be like, I'll tattoo you for free if you share stuff on social media. So that's what I started doing. I went to Fresh Ink, which is one of the biggest tattoo shops that we have on the Gold Coast, and the owner, Josh, was like, I'll start tattooing you if you want to take photos in our clothes and stuff. So that's literally how it sort of rolled off. And what was my first tattoo was the 94, because I was like, nah, I'm going to get my birth year done. I don't know if anyone can see that. But then the second one was the cherub that I've got, and then just sort of all went from there, just in bits and pieces, and then collected them all. So 100%.
So fun, I mean, bit of a fun fact about Fresh Ink. Josh won't know this, but I went to school with Josh.
Oh, did you? There you go.
Yeah, so we were in the same high school together. I think when I moved over from Wales, he actually left.
Yeah, right.
So it was kind of like a bit of a switch.
Small world.
Very small world. But I actually got my first portrait done at Fresh Ink, believe it or not.
Oh, did you?
So yeah, my Frank Sinatra portrait I got done by Dimmy K there. So
yeah.
So
that's so funny.
No, it's a bit of a small world, but yeah, they're amazing, and Josh is doing so well with that shop as well. So, and fighting as well. So
and they've just opened. I'm pretty sure they just bought a new shop, and they're either moving or they're doing two shops. So I'm not quite sure what they're doing, but I saw that they got that second location.
Unreal, I love it.
Yeah, entrepreneurs, all of yous.
Best tattoo, worst tattoo. And I'll do the same, right? That's fair enough.
Yeah, okay,
I won't be nasty.
Okay, I can't not knock. Okay, my portraits, it's either take your pick. They're both pretty freaking good. Like, I can't really. What would you say between those two? They're done by both Josh. They're both
I know.
pretty.
It's a tricky one, because I know kind of the meanings behind both of them as well. So it's like, that's a bit difficult for me to say, and also you, because it's the same as my portraits kind of thing. So. And no, it's a tricky one. Yeah, you can have two. You can have two favourites. Yeah, that's fine. Well,
just I don't know if anyone can see, but my top one's Kurt Cobain, and then my bottom one is Mac Miller, and they're both like one of my favourite artists, and they're both passed away. So I both got those done. But I don't really have like. Actually, no, I'm gonna say this one under here. I've got a Killer Bee, but like it's meant to be a Wu-Tang Killer Bee, and the tattooist forgot one of the bee's legs, so it's got 3 on one side and 2 on the other.
That is amazing.
Yeah,
that is actually amazing.
I don't know how he forgot a leg, but I'm missing a leg on one of my bees.
It must have been on the picture, obviously. It can't have been a tattoo.
Well, he was very hungover when he did it, so to me, I'm like,
Yeah,
Did
no.
he?
Yeah, did he actually?
Yeah. What about you? What's your best and worst?
It's a difficult one for me. I've got plenty of worse ones, as you can tell.
No!
A lot of my
Okay,
Simpson ones
he's got
are
like
worse.
a leg of Simpsons tattoos, and I think it's the best thing ever because
Yeah.
I collect Simpsons stuff and like I'm obsessed with it. But
I don't know, maybe, I don't know. The three-eyed fish I kind of regret off The Simpsons. The only reason why, yeah, I know, maybe it's the way it's done that I regret
Yeah,
it.
right.
Maybe that's why. Yeah, those are good times. But yeah, my favourite one, I don't know, my portraits are definitely my favourite as the meaning and stuff like that. But I mean, I've got Kurt Cobain as well, our Matthew one, Tupac, obviously. And then also Frank Sinatra as well, which is a very weird combo.
wait,
but
why'd you get Frank Sinatra?
so Frank Sinatra, my grandfather,
Okay,
that was literally his kind of background.
Yeah.
Kurt Cobain was, so Mum actually bought me the Nirvana album. That's the first album I ever remember having, which is crazy because thinking about the house I was in when she bought that, I was very young.
Yeah.
But you know what Mum's like.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mum loved Nirvana as well, which is really weird because if you met my mum, you wouldn't think she was a Nirvana fan.
Yeah, I'm trying to picture your mum jamming out to Nirvana now.
And yeah, Tupac, basically, like, it's a funny one. My sister and also my stepbrother, Rob, literally, like, I remember, she's from literally way back to what I can remember, listening to, like, Tupac with my brother.
Yeah.
So he used to have this, this is weird, but back in Wales, like, a VW is a very, very, very nice car, right?
Yeah.
So he's going to kill me for this as well, but I don't care. He's going to be like, I can't believe you're telling this story. But he used to have this VW Polo, which is a tiny car out here, but it had a sunroof in it, the whole size of the car, basically.
Yeah, like a moonroof sort of thing.
Ridiculously big. It had the world's loudest exhaust on it. And also was like slammed, massive wheels on it and everything like that. But he used to work in a petrol station, which Servo over here. Yeah. And literally, it must have been, I would love to know the facts on this, but it must have been every single day he would buy one of those vanilla trees. Like the smellies.
Thing. Yeah, right. Yeah.
And he would just chuck it in his car. So whenever I went in there, the sunroof would be open and you could smell the vanilla outside of the car. So that's literally, when people say like, oh, what's your memories of back home? I'm like, the VW Polo with
vanilla.
Like Tupac or Peaches and Cream being played.
Yeah.
And the massive smell of vanilla. Hence why we both love like smellies, candles and stuff like that are in here. And it's got to be vanilla. Like that's my car literally still has vanilla trees. So
picturing like two chavs getting
it
out
literally
and, like, Adidas, smelling like vanilla.
It was great. And this is the best part as well, which Rob will be very happy about. His seat, literally, it's not the biggest of car, but his seat used to be the full way back. And then it would be leaned back like this. So he'd be driving like that. It was amazing. It was so good. So yeah, I mean, we still think we're gangsters, but
picturing like Ali G, you know?
It literally is like Ali G, and he used to play the music so loud. It was great. I used to think I was so cool. He'd like drop me off to school and stuff like that. I was like, this is amazing.
Like, whose car's
that?
that?
No, who's this guy? But yeah, don't ever change, Rob. He's still got a VW Polo, but it's
does he?
It's like top of the range, really nice though.
This one's like 120,000.
Yeah, no, and it doesn't have vanilla smell in it. I don't think.
He's moved on from the vanilla
smell.
Yeah,
no, he's got kids now, so it's not really vanilla smell. But yes, good times. Thanks, Rob. Thanks for those memories. All right, sweet. So let's go into. I didn't want to chat too much about barbering, but I suppose seeing as I own a barber school and you're a barber and you went through the barber school, I suppose we're going to talk about it as well. Yeah. I suppose, like, what's your thoughts on barbering at the moment? Like, since you kind of, not so much started, but probably your journey before you even started barbering, what was your thoughts on the actual kind of industry? Yeah. And then what do you think of it now? Has it changed at all or whatnot?
Well, before I was like actually qualified and learned what I was doing, it always seemed like a super intimidating field to sort of go into, I'm not going to lie, but that's because you're battling with people who do have big personalities and like have that, you know, finesse about them and stuff like that. But sort of coming into the industry now, it's not as scary, I don't know, like I think because I have the certain look and the attitude about me, it's sort of, that's helped me a lot, sort of thing, being confident. And
you can cut as well, which helps.
Yeah, I can cut hair too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's not as intimidating now. Obviously, not to go into like the whole females and barbering, it is a little bit more difficult for females in barbering, but it's all about how you own your space, essentially, at the end of the day. So, yeah.
It's changing loads. I don't know if you feel the same, but I mean, when we first started the college, I couldn't imagine how many female barbers we would have had.
Oh, it's ridiculous. There's like more female barbers than male barbers coming through this place, and it's the coolest thing to actually see, 100%. To be honest. Yeah.
It's awesome. And I mean, obviously, Zoe, who by the time we release this podcast should have finished, but should have finished a while ago. Again, you two working together, which is amazing for us to see as a college. It's so cool being in the same shop, like you're pumping it out and just like, it looks awesome.
Me and her have definitely been given a really good opportunity there too, because it just so happened that because of the COVID thing, they had a massive turnover of barbers and they needed someone to come in and run the shop essentially. So I ended up going in and then we hired Zoe, so it's been really cool just to have a shop with just girls working too, like just 2 tattooed barbers, and we get along with everyone really well, like it's awesome,
Yeah, it's, it is unreal to see, like obviously, I know the shop smashes the social media and seeing you both on it and stuff like that. It's so cool to see. Like there is a bit of pride, obviously.
You're like, I'm like,
I know. It's like that's almost. But yeah, I mean, it's awesome to see you guys really doing well and enjoying it.
Yeah.
Because that's the major thing. It's like we don't want people to, because we do sell the dream. Barbering is amazing. It's so cool. Yeah. But like what we'll go on to now, it's one thing which I think we're trying to kind of change, and I don't like saying the industry because I don't like putting
an umbrella
in a
over
group.
The whole thing.
Yeah. It's like I think it needs to be that individual. Like how is that individual doing? And that's the thing. I mean, we've started teaching mental health in our courses and stuff like that, and actually doing mental health first aid, purely because I mean, you could probably write a book about how much people have told you when you're actually cutting their hair.
Yeah, it's smart that you're actually adding that. Like, we are therapists to a degree.
Yeah,
some
100%.
of the things that I've been told, you'll get a customer 9 a.m. just hit you with the most heaviest thing that's going on in their life, and you're like, it's also a part you need to learn how to, like, because that almost puts a dampen on your day. Not that it's their fault, you know what I mean, but sometimes it's a bit like, whoa, and then you're a bit funny all day sort of thing, so it's good to teach that little section of things, because people obviously take emotions from other people in different ways, but yeah, that's definitely interesting. You meet some interesting people and hear some interesting things barbering. Yeah,
you definitely do.
Yeah, definitely therapists.
I mean, it's quite funny. Like my background as to how I got into barbering was kind of the other way around. I started cutting hair or cutting my mate's hair because obviously mum was in hospital. Yeah. And I was trying to take my mind off mum being in hospital.
Yeah.
And I was actually reaching out to people, but not saying like I need help. Kind of going like, I'll just cut your hair and we'll just
have a chat. Yeah.
And then kind of get away with it. And then it was quite funny because obviously Arthur, as you know, who's our BDM or marketing, social media, whatever his business title is.
Whatever he does.
I know, he has a list of it like that, so I couldn't narrow it down. But yeah, I mean, I used to cut his hair weekly in the shop.
Yeah.
And it was just like, looking back now, I'm like, geez, we used to tell each other so much. And like Arthur is one of my best mates now, which he'll probably cry watching this back. Yeah. But yeah, it's like just going through what we went through at the time, and it's crazy thinking about what we used to talk about and what he was actually going through, what I was going through, but it was like we didn't think about that because I was just cutting his hair.
Yeah.
But then like you said, it's like somebody could come in at 9 o'clock, bang, put this on you, and then
you feel really weird all day 100%. From it, and then you're like,
100%. And it's like, say you're doing a 12-hour day, which normally happens in barbering. Yeah. So it's like you do a 12-hour day, there could be another 15 clients who do exactly the same thing, and then you've got to take that home. So yeah, it's something which I think needs to change. And again, that talks about the minimum wage and whatnot as to what barbers are on, the cost of cuts and whatnot. Like, it's the cheapest therapist I've ever met in my life.
Yeah, definitely. So that's the other thing with barbering, like, not going to different subject almost, but like the whole, we're lucky that we get paid wage.
100%.
A lot of people only get paid commission off what they cut. So
absolutely.
That's another thing that means that we've been very fortunate in the shop that we're in, is that we get paid a wage, especially while starting, because that's the big thing, is trying to get your clientele up. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
that's another hard bit of the whole industry, because I know barbers that have actually gone out of the industry because of that.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can't afford to, like, people have got kids and lives to pay for, so.
100%.
Yeah.
Cool. So I suppose, I mean, it's frustrating because everyone I speak to thinks exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's not like nobody will go, oh no, I don't think of barbering like that. Literally everyone is saying the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's one thing which we are pushing for to change in the industry, is that the pay rates, the price of a haircut and whatnot. It's crazy. Like we're equivalent to a Cert 3 carpenter, Cert 3 electrical, like whatever. It's a trade qual. So yeah, I don't see why we shouldn't be, well, you guys shouldn't be getting paid that much. So yeah, that's one thing which we want to kind of push towards. But again, the mental health side of it is crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting topic. I know it's a podcast, but we could talk about that for literally hours. So
go on about that one.
Yeah, I know, but we'll change the subject up. So what's next for Ruby?
Next? I don't know. I've been given like some pretty cool opportunities. Like I've got an opportunity to possibly go down to Melbourne with that guy that I was telling you about. He's like one of the main trainers for Anders, and he's been looking at getting me down into his shop to work down there and train me and all that. So that's a avenue I can always go down, but I sort of want to wait until the new year before I decide what I'm going to do. But I can also go over to America, because like one of the guys I know, he's going over, and he's like, I can get you a job over there. So it's just,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, rolling the dice at the moment and see wherever sort of fits the best.
Love it. I mean, the best thing is, again, like I say about the industry, there's so many options.
Yeah.
Like we get messages every single day, literally, have you got any barbers? Have you got any barbers? Have you got any barbers? We need barbers. We need barbers. We need barbers. And the best thing about the qual is you can take it anywhere in the world.
Yeah,
so,
literally.
Yeah, it's a really cool qual. All right, cool. Should we end it on my favourite part of the podcast?
Yeah, go on.
All right, cool. So this is the part which I kind of want to do in every single podcast. And I know I put Ruby on the spot, but I did give her a little bit of notice.
Yeah,
so,
I had some notice.
What we like to do is ask for whoever I am interviewing their 5, probably, I'm going to say favourite songs, but it could be best songs. It could be just the day that it's like, boom, all right, these 5 songs.
Yeah, when you asked me, I'm like, there's so many different ways that you could think about this.
Exactly.
But I was just like, what's the most iconic like sort of songs in my head that I really enjoy? So my first one's Dang by Mac Miller, naturally, because Mac Miller's my one and true love. Lake of Fire by Nirvana, even though it's not originally their song, they actually covered it, but I've got it tattooed on my wrist, so I was like, naturally, I have to have that one as well. I really like Goodbye by Russ. I've only just found Russ. Everyone's been obsessed with Russ for like ages, and I only just found him. I know I'm late to the game, but that Goodbye song is so good. Fall Apart by Post Malone, because when I went and saw him live, I cried to that song, and I think
everyone cried to that song.
I've never cried whenever I've been like to any concert or anything. Never cried when I went and saw MGK, and I love MGK, and I didn't even cry. But as soon as he played that, I was in tears, and my friend was like, "Are you okay?"
Interesting. I love that.
He's like, "Are you
I'm
alright?"
fine. I'm fine.
I was like screaming. I was like, "I love this song." And then the last one, I had to choose it. Well, I love the song anyway, but Neurosys by Rumours, because I was in their film clip. So if you haven't seen it, go look at it.
That's cool.
I
know. That's the best plug ever. I know. I love it. All right, cool. I'm going to do my favourite, which is outrageous because I haven't even thought about this. All right, cool. Let's go. Boys to Men, Bended Knee. Again, shout out Rob. This again, it was like literally memories. Boys to Men, and we watched them live in the casino as well, which. You know how you were saying like, oh yeah, I cried for that song. I think the whole time we were literally just like, I want to throw my pants at the guys on the stage. It was ridiculous. Wanye, shout out to Wanye. He'll definitely be watching this. That's but so incredible. Who else am I thinking? Michael Bublé's probably got to be up there. But which song?
Why do I feel like this is a very Welsh playlist?
Yeah, I know. It's,
Michael Bublé.
I know, Michael Bublé. Because I've seen him live so many times as well, but geez, to narrow down the song, let me get back to the Michael Bublé one. Frank Sinatra, New York, New York.
Yeah, that's iconic, that song.
Yeah, and when I went to New York as well, with 2 of my mates, I sang that on karaoke, which was great, and I felt like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever.
So good.
I was like, I am Frank Sinatra. Nirvana, Polly.
Yep.
So that's definitely one as well. I should probably do a 2-pack one.
I was about to say, I'm like, you should probably do a 2-pack.
Should I do a 2-pack one? I need to go back to my Michael Bublé one as well. Oh my goodness. It's so much pressure.
Bublé.
How much pressure is it?
That's why I wrote down a list.
I know, I should have written a list. Let's go... Well, actually...
I don't even know if I know the name of a Michael Bublé.
There's so many, but now I'm thinking maybe I should go really Welsh and go like Stereophonics or Manic Street Preachers. Maybe I'll do that for the next podcast. If there is ever one after this. Let's go Tupac Changes.
Nice.
A Michael Bublé. Oh, jeez. Let's go. So he does a version of Just the Gigolo, which is amazing. I'll do that.
Yeah,
that could
okay,
be my
fair.
part, right?
Fair.
All right. Thank you very much for listening in or tuning in or watching or whatever.
However you do it.
Thank you so much, Rubes,
No, thank
for
you.
being our first guest.
Appreciate you asking.
I'm sure there will be more questions which they're like, why didn't you ask Ruby this? So, yes, we will bring that on. Also, I can't believe I didn't put Kaiser Chiefs Ruby in the top 5 songs.
Yeah, well, that song's been my life.
Yes, I know.
My life. Yeah,
I
pretty
can
much
imagine. Well, the plan was for me to sing that as we started, but we had some technical issues with my voice, which didn't happen. I just can't sing. So we left that. But yeah, thank you very much, guys. Give us any feedback, and yeah, who do you want on next?
Bye. Sick.
Perfect.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.